to also come through and toss in your views and contributions on 09533233738 and 09609699269. My guest is the Patriotic Front PF administrator from the Information and Publicity Desk. His name is Erasmus Chendela Mukondo. Mr. Mukondo, good morning.
Good morning, Comrade McFarlane. I'm humbled to be such quite a long time now.
You're welcome. First of all, let's get to look at how you would, describe the State of the Nation address by His Excellency Edgar Chagwa Lungu on Friday. And of course, there were a lot of issues that were raised during that particular address in his speech. Which ones would you actually pick as the most contentious issues and require attention, such that they should obviously be seen to bear fruits before we hit 2021 general elections?
Thank you very much, Comrade McFarlane. May I say good morning to our listeners and viewers out there? And getting to the question, I'm happy that you have asked that brilliant question. Because if you look at this speech that the President gave in Parliament, it gives us more hope, and it has made us to see that we are still on track as a nation. And the other thing which we have to acquaint ourselves with is that we are operating in a global village, and this global village, among other issues that the President has been talking about, starting from, I think, 2016, where we are, it's the main challenge of energy. So, in a layman's language, we would reduce that one, the energy challenge, to that one of load shedding. Load shedding, it has affected all of us. And the other issue, which is at hand, which I think shouldn't be used as an excuse, but it's affecting everyone, regardless of the party that you belong to, the creed, the church that you belong to, or race. That is the COVID-19. So basically, with what the President talked about, it gives a lot of hope, especially he talked about the nation that we are heading somewhere. And we can confidently say that that's the way forward that we want. And then some other hope that he has given us, it's concerning electricity generation, which he has said that we intend to see the end of this road shedding, because the Kafue Gojuloa power station is soon to be commissioned by the end of this year. And that means an additional 780 megawatts expected to cover the 810 megawatt deficit that we have been experiencing. So basically, these two has been the cry of our people. And among others, it's the COVID environment in which we are operating, especially for the teachers who are in the private sector. They have been badly hit. For those teachers who are with the government, at least they have been continue receiving their salaries. But it has been a challenge for the private sector. And other things which the President has talked about is the bonds, and also the availability of tax relief, especially for those who are accountants, those who are suffering with the main issue of cash flow, because this COVID has more like thrown our business activities into negative. And this, on a global level, we are posting on average 4.9 negative. Here, even in Zambia, it's the same. South Africa, it's the same. Almost everywhere. So this challenge, when it came, especially that we have been importing a lot of things from the East, and that is China. That's where in fact, from Wuhan, that's where the virus started from. It has affected badly.
Are you attributing, this COVID-19 as the major, reason for this particular challenge that we actually experience economically in our country?
If I was to do that, McFarlane, I wouldn't be doing justice to ourselves. If you look at the COVID, it came in, it reached, I think it became a big world, global challenge around November, somewhere there. And for us as Africans, it reached somewhere in March. So if I was to attribute the slowdown to our economic activities, It's as I said in my preamble, I talked too much of energy. That's the main challenge that we have been facing from inception. And this, as the president explained, you know, he had even visited the Victoria Falls. It tells us a big story. Way back as far as 2010, you know, one of the indicators that we have been facing this global challenge of climate change, it's the Zambezi River itself. If you go to Balos land, they will tell you that yes, Balos, climate change is real. Just the activities that they used to have as normal, we no longer have. This activity to do with the movement of this big boat, the Kuomboka. It has not been there. It has not been happening as it has been happening. So it's supposed to be a perennial challenge. But basically, this is a proven leadership. It has met every headwind just head on. So basically, that would be not the only excuse that I can give at this time that we are. It's only like now that this COVID-19, it had even swallowed the little economic liquidity that we had and the businesses that were sustaining our people. Especially that we have a lot of private activities which sit on service delivery. And you know, service delivery talks about human interactions. And that's where COVID sits. And you find that now it has become extremely difficult. And the importation of our goods being an import-driven country, we find it exceptionally difficult now to operate in such an environment.
All right. Now, as you highlighted and hinted on issues to do with, climate change, which obviously is among issues the head of state actually, raised during his address to Parliament, and of course he spoke of, the El Nino effect, and of course the impact on our population. And of course, he spoke as well about a number of things. I think. Some months ago, and of course the full impact of the drought situation that obviously hit the eastern, southern, and western parts of our country. And of course, we were very lucky that God had to bless us with the rains, which the bumper harvest was actually recorded, and we have a bumper harvests in various parts of the country. And I believe that these, dynamics can actually get to turn around the economic activities in our country. Now, when we look at these global threats that obviously, get to impede on, economic activities in various countries, what mechanisms has the government of this country actually, put in place to ensure that these can actually be tackled in as far as
civil servants to participate in going into these sites to see like the Victoria Falls, and then also these other important sites, tourism sites, so that we generate our own activities out of this local economy that we have. So basically, going local, it's the best. And that's the best way we can survive. And you have seen now the production of medicine and the procurement of medicine has been very difficult in this environment. It calls for that we invest in these pharmaceutical plants. And they have to be done in two. I like what the local government, the health minister has so far done with the storage facilities. So we need to move a step further. We don't just need to have these storage facilities, but we have to make sure that we promote the manufacturing of these medicines. And you have rightly seen, there are things like which have helped us to sustain our health locally. Maybe even making to have that the president which was talking about, is it almost 90% of our people are recovering. It could be ginger, this ginger thing that we have been drinking throughout, and then also the lemons. And I think this is the medicinal value that we need to add value to. We established the pharmaceutical centers, and then also plants to produce such value. So basically, that's what it is telling us. We understand and appreciate that we are operating into this global economy, and everything is happening on a global scale. And we cannot divorce ourselves from such. but it's important that now people should be looking at Zambia as a food basket for the southern region. Zambia should also be a food basket maybe for the whole entire Africa. So basically, this is where we are. The mechanism that we have put in place is that of diversification. And then not only that, according to the Seventh National Development Plan, Chapter 4, it is talking about inculcating that spirit of self-reliance. And the president talked critical the importance of the word resilience. We have to be a resilient nation. And the resilience talked about changing the way we have been looking at things. So today, as I was coming, I was even thinking about, do you need the Edgar Chagwalungu today to tell you that your radio station, is it your TV and radio, can only wait for Zesco to come and switch them off or to power them. But you can get these smaller panels, which are dotted around
but
the
that
streets,
obviously comes, it's a blow on, business entities, especially when you were actually not expecting such kind of things, but you are subjected to channel your other resources to such kind of, ways in which you can mitigate the impact of a load shedding, in that particular regard.
Yes.
Now, that obviously is a strain on your budget arrangement.
Yes, yes. And unfortunately, as I talked about the same Seventh National Development Plan, Chapter 4, the mindset change. This should have, we should have started this way back. I remember very well when Chilwa was trying to prepare us to for the privatization and the environment that we are going to find ourselves in. He prepared us to tighten up our belt. I think from there, we would have moved on also to tell our people that as we are inviting these private investors to come on board, as production revamps again and the population is growing, we should have made our people understand that the energy consumption rate will also increase. Because today, as we stand today, McFarlane, the McFarlane of today and the McFarlane of 10 years ago, it's two different people. Today, you need to move with this gadget. The consumption rate of energy has grown up. Maybe per annum, you even consume close to 3 gallons of fuel. So basically, the consumption of energy should have been done and inculcated to us. It should have even become part of the syllabus so that we inculcate those values into our people. But unfortunately, it's coming more like on a campaign promise. That is starting in 2016, where you find that now we're having this challenge of load shedding. That's where now everybody comes to say, no, you are telling us to shift from here to the other side. But I thank God and I thank this government that so far, as Zambians, we have shown that resilience. And we have diversified within a short possible time. We were dependent 99% by 2015. Today, it's almost close to about 80%, 20% of our activities that have been diversified. And I'm happy to see if I move into these some of these centers, business centers now, they have this genset. And we are passing on the cost. We have to share this thing. But otherwise, as you rightly said, identify if it is happening the way we are doing it now, you find that it will affect our personal budgets. And the most important thing that the government has talked about is remaining resilient, and then also the culture of telling people the truth. Right. So as a patriot front, I'm very happy that the president has been truthful through and through. And I think as he assumed the office, or the Republican office, is it in 2016, he told everyone that I will be making very bold decisions. Some of them you won't like me. Some of them you love me. But at the end of the day, I want to make sure that this nation is put out of this environment we're in.
Now, the other issue, obviously, that borders on small businesses, and of course, this is a very, very critical area to actually look at. And of course, the head of state, spoke about, the impact of load shedding on these, people that are dealing in small scale businesses.
Yes.
Now, arising from this particular background, you will understand that there are so many things that these business entities have actually, gone through. We're
Yes.
talking about issues to do with load shedding, the barbermen, those who own salons, and of course, many others that rely on, energy or
Yes.
hydroelectricity,
Exactly.
which has obviously, brought about a lot of impediments. And
Yes.
if you remember last year when I brought you on this particular program, you actually assured the nation through, the implementation of, some hydro and solar generating of power.
Yes.
You highlighted that as we hit March, which is this year,
Yes.
load shedding would actually be a thing of the past, but we have continuously, seen this hiccuping in as far as power generation is concerned. We are being load shedded every now and then. Sometimes people get load shedded like twice a day,
Yes.
even more.
More.
Yeah. So what has gone wrong with the assurance that was made last year and this time around?
Yes. We had made assurances that by March, this economy was supposed to be on its legs. But you have rightly brought the date very well, somewhere March, which was the end of first quarter. And this is the reason why now we have to bring in the thing of the COVID-19. And coincidentally, that's when the COVID-19 came on board. And if you look at the activities of COVID, it will literally stop the construction of the site there. We have about 5,000 youths who have been involved there. Others were locked. We had almost everything in disarray. Even the engineers who are constructing that, they are from China. So, the impact that COVID has had on our life. This is the 60th month in which now education is being open, the bars are being open. You go and ask somebody if really COVID has an impact on their lives. They will tell you that it's real and it has had a negative impact on their businesses. And I'm happy that you have rightly brought this issue at this time, because the president, we have adjusted, but we have said we have to end this road shedding. Road shedding has to remain in 2020. And have this assurance, especially that looking at the new normal in which we are, the company which has been assigned to, which is mandated and assigned to execute this project, ZESCO, it has assured the nation, and so far so good. Some of the turbines have been commissioned. So basically, we are expecting that by the end of this year, the road shedding will be no more. And that will mean for another coming 60 years, we won't be talking about this road shedding. The way we have been talking about, the tarmac, the drainages, those are old stories now. We do not look forward to hearing that the other road is like this. We have to look at now implementing roads in far-flung areas now. And those areas which have never had the roads now. But when it comes to electricity and road shading, I think the president had given us assurance now that this road shedding will come to an end. And it will come to an end this year. We would have failed maybe by March, but what is important is that this year, and if COVID had not come along, we would have seen to it that this thing would have come to pass. Because, the people who are doing this job, it's not only ZESCO, but they have imported experts from China, and China was badly hit. So basically, those are some of the effects of COVID, and we are still feeling this COVID in our midst.
And of course, we still get to look at, the speech of the head of state, where he obviously has, put across a number of things in his speech. And of course, he spoke about issues of endurance, innovation, and entrepreneurship to the people, of this particular country. That's the message he obviously preached about. And of course, We have also looked at some of the empowerment activities that are obviously, going on. And of course that now a lot of people are asking the criteria under which these empowerments are actually hinged on, and also whether they are actually sustainable. Are they sustainable? And also the criteria under which one is actually, qualifying to have these empowerment programs.
The criteria is there, and then also I think for the government to come up with such pronouncement, the money has been made available, and we have seen almost close to about 15% so far has been enrolled across the nation. But there are these other nitty-gritties that the professionals, those who are in charge of this economy through the Bank of Zambia, and then also on the fiscal side, where they have been providing these initiatives to make sure that even those who are receiving these initiatives, they are not taxed. The reliefs, they have to be given to them. So even when they're importing these things, I think there are those such incentives. So basically, the government is an octopus. It's very big. It has the right people, and I think in the southern region, Zambia has well qualified, competent civil servant, and that is from the Ministry of Finance itself. We get to Bank of Zambia, which is in charge of the monetary policy, and then also the fiscal policy, which is controlled by the ZRA. So basically, with us, the resources are available, and the criteria is there.
All right, and now, Mr. Mukondo, I'd like you to also give an insight of how far we've gone in as far as economic diversification and job creation is concerned, because I understand that, there was a pronouncement that was made, I think, in 2015 that by December, that was during the September address, if I'm not mistaken, by the head of state, Edgar Tagwalungu, when he actually addressed Parliament and said that by December, the country will actually have created, 500,000, jobs for the youths. And of course, that was, a pronouncement that was given by the head of state. And he obviously, in his last address on Friday, he says that, government has identified economic, diversification and job creation as the key pillar to support Zambia. Zambia's development agenda. Now, in this regard, he went on to say that a number of interventions have been implemented in the sectors identified as key drivers and enablers for economic diversification and job creation. The question is, when we look at job creation, would you safely say that jobs have been created for the youths and generally other people of this country, Zambia? And of course, what diversification, ways that have been taken to ensure that the country obviously does not only rely on a single activity in terms of turning around their personal economic maneuver.
Yes. The best way to answer that one, I'll give you a very classic example of Kawambwa constituency, where we have Honorable Chilangwa as a good classic example of a hard worker. We have about 150, now 56 members of parliament. I'll pick Kawambwa for instance, and you see how we come up with these figures of how we are anticipating maybe even 500 or 5 million youths to be employed, because the youths in Zambia, they stand around 6 million. So basically, employment is not only for youths, but it's for everyone. So if you go to Kawambwa, you find that within these 4 years, that honorable minister has created, on average, about 40,000 jobs. Just in one constituency. Kawambwa tea, it's up. Kawamba sugar, it's up. And, through the means of commerce, they had come up with this, the provincial conferences, or is it where you do market the province itself? And Wapula stand out as one of the best provinces which has taken advantage of that. So on the just constituency level, you find that Kawambwa, it's back. Almost 40,000 people are employed. Because if you look at this project that he has embarked on, if one constituency can have 40,000 people, or just on average 15,000 people who are working, that means we have almost even 100. If 100 MPs were able to emulate what the Honorable Chalangwa was doing, you will find that we'll be talking about close to about 50, is it 1.5 million?
The bone of contention when you give such an example is that, that man is actually, a patriotic front member, of which it is very much easier for, him to access funds and all those empowerment activities for political gain.
No. It shouldn't be like the case. I'm expecting the same to happen with Garin Kom. Garin Combo is one of the person who is sleeping on what I can call a big potential economic earner for the. We can say you subtract, we are almost 1.2, which is almost 500,000, which has happened just under the civil service itself. This is the reason why you have even seen the police nowadays. It's been equipped. The equipping of the police, it's happening at a very huge investment. So basically, if you look at the police, they have enjoyed the good numbers. The other one, it's ever since we assumed this power, the president, the Minister of Health, talking about experts alone, the president updated that we have now 23,000 nurses and doctors who have been employed. So basically, when it comes to employment, it's happening under the patriotic front. And some other initiatives or projects which we are looking at that are driven by these cooperatives, and he spoke strong about it, and it's happening under some youths. We have seen here in Rufunza, activities are happening. In Eastern Province, activity happens. In Northwestern, it's happening. So basically, even confirmed that, in fact, this gold now, the central bank has started buying it. So basically, these activities, they are supposed not just to be one-off, but we need other players to come in, so that at the end of the day, these as you talked about the word sustainability, they become sustainable. Because sustainability talks about how are we operating last year. Next year, are we going to add more value to what we are doing today? 10 years from now, are we talking about these youths who graduate into adults now? So basically, as a Patriot Front, we have been doing that. And the reason why the president talked about these strategic sectors, like the means of food and fisheries. The other one, also the means of mines, through the same initiative which I've talked about, where those people who are classifying as illegal miners, they are recognized by the government. Once they come together, they start mining, start adding value to this nation. Because previously, under the MMD, our friends, those on the copper belt, were just calling them the Jirabos. But today, that name has died down. So basically, as a government, we are very much committed to have performed well. They won't even be saying, Ekahindi Chilema has failed. But when he goes outside there, they will say, no, we are hearing you are scoring well. It means you have been providing the check and balances which are fruitful. So basically, it's important that everyone comes on board.
All right. Now, there is one critical issue that obviously the head of state, I don't know if I missed it, but
Yes.
of course, issues bordering on social and economic, challenges the country is actually facing by coming up with tangible solutions.
Yes.
Tangible solutions in open and close brackets. Let's focus on this particular matter so that we can deal with the current situation that obviously the coronavirus actually has brought about. What tangible solutions is the government actually, bringing forth to ensure that we actually go by such into the 2021 general elections, where we don't see cosmetic, way of how the economy actually is performing, because there is obviously a likelihood of cosmetic performance of the economy as we get towards 2021. What tangible solutions is the government actually bringing to the fore?
Yes, the number one tangible solution is that one of the 750 megawatts. That is a physical structure, and once it is operational, just like the way we have been enjoying the Kariba Dam, which was constructed in 1958. So it is even that deficit to be swallowed. We'll be remaining, in fact, with 131 deficit. 750 will be done. So basically, that's what the president, the activity, the economic activity that that dam will bring on board, that gorge will bring on board, it will be tangible. That's a tangible solution, number one. The other tangible solution which the president have been talking about, it's this one of aquaculture. We have water. You know, we had the two predicaments in Zambia. Southern part, we didn't have water. It was the El Nino. The northern part, we had too much water. So this is the time we should invest in aquaculture. And aquaculture is talking about outside. If you have a farm, make 5 dams. You put fish there. Because the deficit of fish here in Zambia, it's like it's almost 86% deficit of fish. We import from outside. Tanzania, this carpenter that we are eating from Tanzania, it is we call it at Mpulungu. It's in fact been imported from our friends there. So basically, there is need that this government has talked about tangible solutions, and which I've seen. The monies have been made available under aquaculture. And it's up to each and every one of us to go out there. At least we have land. And where our land is concerned, you dig 4 or 5 pools there. It's permanent, it is yours. It won't be something that, no, even if Edgar Lungu won't be there, that pond will remain with you. So even with this dam, even if Edgar Lungu was to live today, the economic activities will continue being driven positively by these projects that we have done. The other one, it's this one of gold mining, where it had brought a lot of issues to do with ownership. These, we used to say, no, in Zambia we produce even gold. Why is it that we are just a copper producing country? There, the Republican president comes up with a pronouncement. We are now a gold producing nation. And the youths, they have been challenged. It's up to you. And you have seen how serious the president is taking this initiative. In Northwestern, when we had one of our party functionaries was taking advantage of the economic prevailing conditions there, he wanted to hijack the project. He is out. So this is how serious the president is. And you have heard the voices of the chiefs. They are even speaking further. We don't even want these foreigners. These all people are conniving with foreigners. This is God. This is our God. We want it to remain here in Zambia so that it can add value. So basically, these are tangible solutions that we are having as a Patriotic Front. The other one is agriculture. Our many food basket province that has been affected, which is Southern Province. So there has been, I saw last year a good diversification. I've seen even Northern Province recording some good bumper harvest. Muchinga, a good bumper harvest. It's only Wapula where I never saw some. It was about 3 or whatever point something. But basically, we need to make sure that a province like Southern Province, it has such facilities to sustain this economy. The hydropower station, which has been put in a Southern Province, in Chikankata. So basically, that's a Chikankata property, and we expect the youth of Chikankata, the youth of Southern Province to benefit. So these are some of the tangible projects that we have seen, not cosmetic ones. So basically, with that, I think the president gave us that assurance that these are tangible solutions. The other one which we have not materialized, that one of the goat from Saudi Arabia, the goat project. You find that we are given an opportunity to sell, but up to now, and I think Professor Luo has been following that one religiously. And I think maybe in 2 or 3 years from now, because coming up with almost 1 million goats, we thought we had these in stock, but when that don't in as you are talking about tangible things, you find that the numbers were below that. So basically, we have a lot of opportunities. We have a lot of opportunities in which this government has invested in. And the other one is, if you are a musician, there's a 6 million which has been made available. Is it the 30 million which has been US dollar, 30 million US dollars, sorry, 6 million US dollars which has been made available. And then also the 30 million kwacha which has been made available towards the youth empowerment. So this is the time.
That is targeting musicians.
And apply. So I think they have been applying since, and the close deadline should be in September. So I think we'll be hearing how those people come out. And once you produce an international musician, that won't be a PFO product. It will be a national product. So basically, these are the tangible solutions we are looking at. So the art industry, it is one of that industry which we have never invested in since in the independence. But this time around, this pronouncement have been made. It's if regardless of the political divide, you can go in and
access the funds. Let's look at issues bordering on crop production, and of course, the production of major crops has been increasing from the year 2016, and of course, I can safely say that if you check the statistics, I'm pretty much sure, if I'm not mistaken, the production of maize has increased from 2.8 million metric tons to 3.4 million. That was in 2016.
Yes.
To 3.4 metric tons in 2020. But we still see the staple food, which is obviously maize, transformed into mini meals, still expensive. Why is this the case?
The problem which we have always had with maize, it's the storage, which the president was addressing. We have stood at 5 million. Is it 500,000 metric tons? We can produce up to even 4 million. But the only capacity that we can install, it will still be within 500,000. So this time around, the president is saying we are going to increase storage capacity times 2. to about 1 million, which is a plus. Because what is important is the storage. It's not the production of that food, but the capacity to keep that the food itself. So basically, that's why I have gotten it wrong. You find that you produce that 3.4 metric ton, and then almost 40% goes to waste. It's uncollected. So that's where the challenge has been. So basically, even when that's why I find that now people will be just selling these merchandise to these foreigners. Is it a Tanzanian border there? The Congo, which is the largest border from Minirunga to somewhere Kashikish, you will find that people will just be selling in an open, because it's an open market. So basically, we need to secure our food, and that is the number one. And I think Dr. Musiska's project, this one for Chongwe, where they want to open up a center, that one, he said, is they are going to reduce the wastage of this stored food by almost 60%, almost close to about 70%. And that should be implemented so fast that we secure our own food. So but when we talk about producing the production of food, Zambians are very resilient people. They are very hardworking. They produce the maize. But the problem is the storage.
All right.
So storage technology need to be upgraded.
The head of state on Friday actually, announced the partial reopening of the bars.
Yes.
All right, and the nightclubs. That is from Fridays to Sundays, with the immediate effect. But obviously, with a serious, a caution that all public health guidelines are actually strictly adhered to, and of course, these outlets actually have been ordered to operate from 18 hours to 23 hours, talking about even nightclubs as well as bars. And I believe that many people that obviously, patronize these bars
Yes.
are also, linked to issues of night. Clubs. So you can't rule out that fact. And of course, he has also indicated that this actually is being done on a pilot basis.
Yes.
All right, it's not something. If it exacerbates, the president will revoke this. That's what was indicated. Now, arising from this particular background, and we look at how the adherence to this COVID-19 health guidelines has been taken, we are seeing a lot of people actually not taking that much regard. They have dropped the guard in as far as the protection against this coronavirus infection is concerned. Do you think people are going to adhere to these health guidelines?
My brother McFarlane, on a good note, there was yesterday another report which has said there is an increase of pregnancy. Is it increase? Pregnancies increase among the teenagers because after the COVID-19. So it could be attributed because of these drunkards who are at home. So I would want them to go back.
But they are not drunk. They are not drunk. How do they contribute to that?
Okay, let me get serious on that.
Right.
On a serious note. If you look at what the president is trying to answer, there are people who have been giving him pressure that these bars, owners, and is it nightclubs, they have suffered a lot. They also participate in the economic drive of this country. So basically, it's important that at least you should give them a window at which they can also try to make sure that they continue sustaining their businesses, which has been closed for the past 6 months. So basically, looking at that, the president has given them this experiment in which we have to see to it that these people, they will adhere to the guidelines. And that is starting from Friday to Sunday. And that is around 18 hours to 23 hours.
But just yesterday, I saw a lot of people actually, were gathering around bars, and of course, before even 18 hours, it was past 17. People are already.
It's a pilot project, and that means now they are disqualifying themselves. It will be just 2 weeks from now, maybe even 4 days from now, we hear that they will be closed. We're expecting people to exhibit exemplary behavior, in the sense that everybody knows how COVID-19 is and how serious COVID-19 is. And when you talk about the issue of COVID-19, we are talking about issues that affect each individual as an individual. Because, when you are sick, you want to go to Levi Mwanawasa there as a UPND cadre or a PF cadre or FDD cadre. You go there
as a
Zambian. So basically, it's important. It's very cardinal that we take this advice very seriously. Let us follow the international laid down standards. These standards have not been put by Edgar Lungu or by PF. These are international guidelines that are meant to safeguard our lives so that we can continue also sustaining the bar owners. We can also sustaining those restaurants. We can also continue sustaining the schools. So basically, the president is right. When he hears people that the pressure has been going on, people they do not have food, and they have been relying on these bars for a long time, because it's also a sector that we need to support, and then also to look at as something which has been adding value. But there are abuses which are in this industry. And a very good classic example is that one of South Africa, where you find that it was reopened, and immediately it was opened, it became the worst contributor to people who are having COVID infection. So basically, even in our Zambian setup, it's risky, but it's a risk worthy to take. We are believing that our Zambians, they are mature, and the 18 hours to 23 hours, it's ample time for everyone to at least have what they like calling a chill, and then you can get back home. So basically, if you look at it strategically, the government has allowed the week, which is very productive, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, until Friday, 18 hours. So 5 days, we are expecting you to be very productive. And then as you go as a civil servant, after your work, you can go and maybe relax a bit with your family at these places. Because, the only thing which we normally think of when we talk about these bars, we normally think of the negativity that these bars have shown us. But there's also the positive aspect. There are those who genuinely go there for relaxation. There are those who seek the services of these places, not for prostitution services, but just as family to go and sit with that they relax away from the burden of being at home and at work. So basically, we are demanding individual responsibility.
All right. Let's look at, by and large, the issue bordering on, schools have been also one of the critical issues where the head of state actually saw it prudent to actually, order the reopening of schools.
Yes.
And of course, and now it's going to be something else where, people that are coming from various families, even those that are coming from families whose parents or guardians, even uncles, were actually, had COVID or still have COVID this time around. How do we deal with such kind of a situation? The mitigatory measures, of course, further mitigatory measures that obviously must be employed in as far as curbing the further spread of the coronavirus, especially in schools, because we see a situation where pupils don't understand certain things. They get overexcited after having been home for quite some time.
Comrade McFarlane, the first thing which we need to appreciate is that we have lived in this COVID for the past now 6 months. So it won't be like the way it was in March, where we had that fear also. Fear was attached to it. But this time around, we know that we can coexist with it. So the first step that we need to do is to make sure that all these school teachers, they intensify the cleaning aspect of fighting this COVID-19. We make sure that our hands are clean, and then the water itself. I think also the utility companies. They must also intensify the supply of water. This is the number one thing that they need to take into consideration. If it is here in Lusaka, they have to make sure that they strategically put reserve tanks for water so that we fight this disease. Because it's very simple. As long as we are clean and we maintain social distancing, and then also strategically, I think there is need also to enforce this regulation by coming up with resource persons who are just dedicated to fighting this COVID-19 at each school, so that the enforcement is done. Because if you look at the enforcement saying that the police will help us, it will mean that we are getting a very critical resource from our economy, misplacing it at another level. But because of, I believe, institution of learning, they are the best places where you find that civilization is supposed to be practiced and to be the beacon of values. So basically, I'm expecting, as the way the president has done it, that these people who are learners, they will embrace this one. Because if you look at the sad part of what the president is trying to cure, that of our students, our learners, they have missed out. Is it tuition hours, and then also these education hours, and then also on the teacher himself. It has been very expensive, because a lot of them, we have seen some of these private schools, they have gone an extra amount of putting them on half salaries. And you know, where resources are not coming in, you find that schools, they have dried up.
Correct.
So basically, they know what it means. So the teachers, they should be the drivers, to make sure that these guidelines, they are implemented. Because if they are not implemented, then they want to go back home. They want to go back home. So I think the onus is now on the teachers themselves to help that their learners, they operate in this environment. The way they have been helping, teaching these values and education, now COVID should be taught to our students. This is another additional subject that they need to talk about on a daily basis until we are out of this predicament. So basically, that's how I look at it. We need to be exceptionally clean now. Lusaka Water, these utilities companies in all these 10 provinces, they need now to support the pronouncement by our Republican president, so that water is facilitated. And then also, DMMU needs now to intensify the fight when it comes to the production of these masks. And as you know, the masks, they are very critical. At the moment, we are surviving. We are not all that clean, but we are surviving through these the masks. So that's how I look at this fight. Otherwise, if we say that the schools continue being closed, then we are not calling it a new normal.
All right.
The new normal, it won't be applying maybe to politicians who want to mobilize their parties, and then also only you journalists who are coming here talking, because you know you are working at the end of the day. So let also the teacher work, and then also the barman operate. But this is critical, especially where education is concerned. The controls should be very simple to implement, but it's very difficult where the industry of impairment is. That is the bars. Because there, even if somebody gets 2 or 3, you find that he has an impaired mind. He won't be operating in a normal way.
Correct.
So basically, I think also on the consumption, when you talk about these bars, I think they should also be rationing. If you know this person, you have given him even to an extent of using NRCs or driving licenses. You write how much beers has this person been sold, so that at the end of the day, they do not totally make them go back to a shutdown again. At least if you are operating at 50 or 60 or even 40%, it's much better.
This is The Talking Point, a program that articulates political and social issues. Tune in to Joyfm every Sunday between 10 and 12 hours. The Talking Point. The Talking Point.
And of course, you are listening to the Talking Point radio program on Joyfm Radio. You can also be a part of this discussion. My guest is Erasmus Chendela Mukondo, who is actually the administrator from the Patriotic Front Information and Publicity Desk. Let's get to hear what you have to say this beautiful morning. McFarlane Munyanga is my name. Lost you can still come back and get to toss in your views. Good morning.
Good morning, my brother.
How are you doing today?
Very fine. Good morning, Mr. Mukondo.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
This is Brother Andrew.
Yes, sir, Brother Andrew. You can go ahead, please.
Thank you so much. Mr. Mukondo, I want to appreciate what the government is doing for youth when it comes to empowering the youth and these other groups of people in this country. But one area of concern is what programs and empowerment initiatives or programs you have for people that support you on radio, the so-called radio content. This is one group that has been neglected, and we. I need to bring that.
Is he calling a joke?
Brother Andrew.
It's very interesting.
It's a job.
Good morning.
Sorry for the feedback.
Thank you.
Yeah, hello.
Good morning. How are you doing?
I'm doing good.
Okay.
You're talking to Mutembe from this compound.
Okay, so do you also need to be paid for calling?
This that calling is a job. I'm telling you, it's a full-time job. Yeah.
So
I'm doing a job.
are you paid to call?
No, me, I'm
It's
not
voluntary.
paid, but I know some friends that are paid.
You are doing a service to the nation.
You can go ahead.
I'm telling you.
Go ahead, please.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. I think for me now to talk about the nitty-gritties.
Yes.
I think for me, when we talk about the presidential speech, to tell you the truth, for me, there is nothing new that the president said. Because the president has been giving speeches since 2016. But for me, as my life has never changed. Why am I saying so? Why should I buy an egg today for 2 quarter 15 way? Why should I get a loaf of bread for 15 quarter? When you have the president in State House? 5 years ago, myself, when knocking off from work, every day.
Yes,
Today,
Zingat.
it's impossible. Hello?
That's why Muna is a manning boss.
So you can't get me, boss.
We are getting you.
Oh, no, if I'm out of line, tell me so. I just want to complain. I'm saying that
Okay.
for me, my life has become more harder to do under PF than before. I'm saying this because it is only a few like you and Daramo that are connected that are enjoying the benefits of being Gambian. For me, there is nothing to benefit. Thank you very much, Napia Mobile.
Thank you.
Appreciate that. Have a good day. We hope that you live in a new normal. Good morning.
Good morning, Maxwell.
Thank you very much. How are you doing today?
Mr. Mukondo, good morning.
Comrade, how are you?
First of all, Mutemelamba anga kuri Maxwellani.
Okay, thanks.
Mukatenda ndipo na mupere kuna kukateni.
Yes.
Your own people, or not your own people, our own people. Because vakapokola, masoja hapa wapi ni wana watu. Wakulika mwa kukateni, 24/7. But mama tebe ni wali mwanga pasa. When you say one Zambia nation, people in the government must follow the rules. Not run to. Kena nguva pasaje 2 days. Azare tunasho kujua mu 2 days, mu 3 days wa Mukondo. Mukakambe kuti waita krepo leo chito kwa sana. Kuko ndio kumemandime basi. Tikali kukwara 5-5. Are you telling me coronavirus it is happening with happening? We got prominent people. What was vice president? But not bad. So coronavirus with the public policy. So say it will happen. So why move on and say about what happened? What in here? But many valid coronavirus.
Okay, time Dr. Proud, thank you. Thank you very much. We appreciate your call. Have a good day.
Thank you, comrade.
Good morning. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, sir. How are you?
Thank you very much, Mr. Munsanje. How are you today?
I'm okay.
Comrade, how are you? Fine,
I'm
and how are
okay,
you?
sir.
Thank you. Yes, we are listening.
Coming to the issue of empowerment,
Mm-hmm.
with me, I don't think you are doing as good. I'll go straight in the area of agriculture. Agriculture, you said.
Mr. Munsanje, you have to be quick. Is that the way you speak?
Yes. Yes. Okay, thank you, Honorable.
Yes, be quick.
The president told us to say, no, we have found the market in Congo. For your crop, money. Kalima wa Chendela, after Kalima, market Mavala, bota Mavala. So mukasiza kugula FRA yane ya mimi nikasiza. For the people of Mabota, now you can go and sell. What do you mean? How are we going to go? Chifukwa nijibadile janga ndiye kuona ndarama kuona uchi country yosauka koma ma MPs vayuta PF iwole mela they are able to dish money anyhow Paris but the country yenda kupepa kongole ku company single country company where are we going as a country? Many were talking about the economy is biting Yamarume. The president has been talking about the growth of the economy. You see, but they have not seen any change. Things are going west and west. Bread in thousands of it, sure, go on. Sugar 2 kg. What? Where are we going? Preserve our Chendela. Muzi, also, Buena Gunoguledia, and then sit down to Mukalina. But president will pass the 50 bag. What is his plan? By this time, it is a change, but we are worried. But there is no business. No one, nothing like that. Thank you very much.
We appreciate your call this morning. I think we can take in this one so that we can give chance to our guests to respond. Good morning.
Morning, Dr. McFarlane Munyanga.
It's too early to give me that doctor title.
You deserve it, my friend.
Okay. Okay, thank you very much. How are you doing today, Mr. Chama Alan?
Chama Alan from Zingalume, yes, I'm okay. Ebro commander there.
Yes, how are
you?
Fine. I thought you were the commander.
Pakweba chubuno nchinavo. Kulea kupantanshi. Pitirisheni, wapatreki friend, ukupita muri wa Edgar Chagwalungu, Oma Inonge Mtukwawina, SG Bamwila,
But you are just entitled to contribute on what we have, not to greet people and not to that will consume a lot of time. It's not the platform for that. Thank you very much.
No, in a nutshell, what I can say is that the Patriotic Front has done more than enough. At the 2021, thank you, Akalamba.
We appreciate your contribution this beautiful morning. Have a good day. I would like you to respond to the calls that came through.
Yes, the contribution from our callers have very good and very brilliant. I'll start with Brother Andrew, who has spoken about the empowerment.
Over callers.
Yes, and he's talking about the callers. I think I will take that brilliant idea to our
office.
Yes, to the office. And especially the presidential initiative.
Do you subscribe to the to paying callers?
No. No.
Because that's what
It's
you are
wrong.
saying. Is that what you are saying? You are taking to the office for
It's
consideration.
for consideration. It's a very brilliant idea. Maybe it can work.
How brilliant is
But
it?
the thing is, you find that everyone will be calling here. So, but basically, in a nutshell, I can just say that we are looking at is it the youths, the women, and then all those people who need to be given the empowerment. They are the one who are supposed to be given. And then for these other callers, they are the voices of the voiceless. They are the voices of the voiceless. So, Brother Andrew, even from here, comrade McFarlane, yeah, he has already been given a doctorate. He has disqualified that one. So I won't even need to take this one further. So you are among ourselves. You are among the leaders of this nation. So Muntembo John, the presidential speech, he says that it's not something new. He has been listening to this speech over and over. The president has been giving such assurances. But when it comes to basic foods like, is it eggs? It's now 2 kwacha. A loaf, it's now 15 kwacha. You
Maximum,
would go,
yeah.
maximum would go, is it with the 2 loaves? But basically, the economy where we are, it's important that we look at also the salaries that we used to receive.
But the salaries are not increasing.
No, they have been increasing. That's what people have been
Where
writing.
have they been
You know,
increasing?
let me tell you, a civil servant is not even a civil servant. I can say that this government, the minimum wage, they have tagged it, especially for maybe these people, the people who employ at the maid. Somewhere
Domestic workers.
somewhere like 900, 950, 1,000. But if you look where we are coming from, they were giving as little as 300. Even these people are operating in this shop. You find that today there isn't anyone who is receiving less than 1,500. So basically, if you look, that has been a jump over the same period. So if you are receiving a 300 in 2011, today you are receiving 150. So only that you can say that the purchasing power has also been eroded because of other issues, which does not only sit with the capacity to buy, but also some other important economic drivers. So basically, it's a two-way thing. If you look at, for instance, the eggs, they are coming from those people who are in this livestock industry. And these are driven by, for instance, electricity, and then also the medication also, they have been going up. So even them, this is how we support the private enterprise. Also, when you talk about bread, this is how also support those who are doing bread. So basically, this is too much on the private side than the government side. But we are not divorcing ourselves that we need to give initiatives. But what is important that the government has gone to do the fundamentals. I was talking about the 750 megawatts power station. So that in future, is it maybe 6 months from now, once it is operational, that electricity cost, it will drop that cost of this producing that egg, it will drop back again to 150 ngwe. So basically, again, the drop shouldn't be dropped to less than 1 kwacha. Because even those who are in that industry, our friends and our brothers who are producing these eggs, they will go out of their market. And also those who are producing bread. So it is with even those who are producing sugar and then also cooking oil. But basically, the PF, generally looking at everyone who is complaining here, the PF has gone to do the fundamentals. And the fundamentals that we are addressing, as my brother, my father challenged me, they are tangible. Projects that we have gone to touch. That is the energy itself. Once we touch energy, we expect these prices to drop down. And then the other aspect, I think, if we continue diversifying, you will find that we can run away from the copper, being a mono economy, Zambia itself. And I was looking at one of the videos how Switzerland price our copper. It is produced here cheaply. It is traded abroad and done everything. But if we run away from such, we go into agriculture, I think you'll be able to manage our own economy. But as the situation stands, these commodities, especially the metal commodities, they are too much monopolized by these international companies. And we may be finger pointing at each other. We may even change even 10 presidents. But as long as these international companies, they are sitting up there, things will be expensive for us. So basically,
so that is got to do with a priority.
Yeah, priorities.
Yes, and
the
Zambians first.
Zambians first, and we have to invest into agriculture, aquaculture, so that we'll be able to have a voice. We can even say, even if Mama is to Avivara, we still can sustain ourselves. So that is how Dubai operates. Dubai has a lot of oil, but they only produce about 3% of that oil because they have diversified. They talk about the airlines, hotel, hospitality industry. People have bought properties in Dubai, but the trigger was the borrowed money using their oil. And then eventually they managed to diversify. That's what we need, the sustainable development. And Comrade Proud has invited me. I'll get the number so that I'll come and visit you there. And he has brought up very good challenges that the VIP got sick. Madam Syria got sick. Are these people in the bus? So you find that this is the reason why the president has given that window. Because we have people like Pride who went to challenge.
I think he owns a bar.
He owns the bar, and you can speak, you can hear from the way he challenges. Very practical. So basically, Brother Mumsanje is talking about also not happy about the empowerment, the way it's happening, and he's talking about the agriculture sector. And then he has talked about one cardinal thing. You find that now the food reserve agents who close everyone so that everybody sells to food reserve agents so that we can have that security, food security. At the same time, when they open, you find that also the borders will be closed. So I think that one, I think I'll take it up. The brilliant idea in the sense that the president on the other side, through the means of comments, they signed those memorandum of understanding. That Zambians can sell up to, is it 6 million metric tons of maize to the Congo.
Exactly.
So if you find that politicians, on the other side, the president has given a directive, and then these ones, maybe civil servants, they are implementing these other, because you know the borders, they are controlled by ZNS and then also by the army. They will be blocking them. So there must be a flow of information so that the farmer can benefit, because we can even end up bringing more forex from the Congo using agricultural product. And I think that's a very good point that he has brought. So Chama Alan from Zingarume, I think this is part of us here, or just commending us, and you want him not to start mentioning names.
Not to start, especially greeting them.
There's a program for greetings.
Yeah, I think so, yeah. Can we go ahead?
Yes, we can go ahead.
Good morning. Bwino mwasenza bwanji mami?
Bwino monga bwanji.
Yes, Mwami Kalenga. Go ahead.
Maona mamenshiri mzapeta ki kolazi nabo kama vile nchito ama serenda kustabangi kutangizwa kupata ma ideas mapati yavo but ngapata kama mzapeta sometimes hakuna ni MUKMC ati youth empowerment, but there some of the callers they don't benefit from that. Maona ka ndio kitu mfano hivi mtie mtapata sapati ni youth empowerment market ya branch ndio pale masuala zile na pata benefit kukuifidi free empowerment. Maona but bila shito. So
then you, in short, you even be saying that much Makalenga yamveka nkani mzamba kufola. Thank you very much. Okay, Tamvera, time. Tamikira. Good morning. Mwana wa Mubiza.
Good morning, Dr. Makfale Munyanga, the handsome speaker.
How are you doing? How are you doing today?
Thank you very much. Good morning, Honorable, our beloved, Ratman Mukondo.
Thank you.
Versatile speaker, well articulated, and we love you so much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Francis. Yes, your floor.
I want to say one thing. What a strategy President Lungu is. You know, a football coach, when you go, there's a game going on, right? What a coach does, when you are 2 goals to 1 down, we've got COVID right now, climate change. 2 goals to 1 down, you have to give hope and direction to the people. This is what President Lungu is doing. You do not say, you are 2 goals to 1 down, there are 10 minutes to go. No, you tell them, within 5 minutes, you can score 3 goals and win the game. That is the optimism that the president has been given to the Zambians. So let us make sure we hear what has to be done. All of us Zambians should be part. And then it's like a general in the end, like what President Lungu is. You can't say, I'm going to attack you and I'm using the Kirundu. You tell an enemy, I'm using Kirundu, but you use Kazungura instead. At the end of the day, people, you have to be strategic. Even the same way, when you are making certain decisions, like a football coach, I'm giving that practical example. Something is not going on in the game. You consult a technical bench. The technical bench will advise you, despite you being the president of the final say, you consult. I think about the one that striker, okay, it's our best striker, but today is not performing. What do we do? You substitute such a person at the end of the true consultation. That's what President Lungu does, and that is why the Bank of Zambia governor somehow was put aside. We do not know the reasons, but for one, he consulted people. So what am I trying to say? This is the president that thinks of the people, he thinks of the country, and he wants our nation to go forward. That is why he mentioned things like load shedding, all the things of the past. That is the optimism of the best. And then things like putting our economy to move forward. He is trying to open the economy slowly but surely, like through the COVID and so on. But he's taking care and precaution because being sworn as president, he is for to uphold the rules and the of the Zambian people. You get the point. So for me, I want to say one thing. All of us Zambian, let us work very hard and encourage our people to say, at the end of the day, Zambia belongs to all of us. And if we help this man deliver, the people who are in opposition tomorrow inherited Zambia than the Zambia that President Lungu inherited. So at the end of the day, President Lungu is a president for all, everybody. He's empowered artists, musicians. He has empowered, through whatever is there here and there. And that should talk for my fellow callers about what it in different quarters as well. I think Mukondo take this very seriously. Have in taking our country forward. We've given so many solutions, so many advice here and there, so many developmental issues.
But there are also, Mr. Mumbi,
yes,
there are also, followers of the Patriotic Front who are not calling but have contributed immensely to the party.
Yes, and when you call, at times when you come out open to the public, it shows your bravery, it shows your warriorship. Just like people who fought for independence. There are others who went out in the street throwing stones, doing this and that. Others were just sitting in offices, others got positions. You understand? They're different.
Don't you think people will now take advantage and start, let me just call in, and even agreeing whatever policy they the government is doing because they know they are going to get something from
it. Is not for callers of the Patriotic Front alone. It is callers for the UPND, callers for NAREP, callers for ADC, and FDD. And political parties. These are the ones that we're not talking about just PF callers. No, we are talking about every caller.
So you mean irrespective political parties should be paying them? Oh,
No,
he's gone.
Let me
Sorry about that.
let me offer them this advice, especially that it has kept on coming on. I think I believe that all the callers, these ones, they have activities which they do, and these activities could be maybe like a comrade Proud. He has a bar. The government is assisting. It can
Just hold on. We're taking this last call and then we close.
Hello?
Good afternoon. Good morning.
Yes, good morning.
Please move away from that noise.
I am
You are still in a noise place.
you know, these children of ours. Okay, I'm now safer here.
Go ahead.
I've been on the governor of democracy. Mr. Mukondo, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah, you know, what I'm trying to say myself is there are some things which the government has done well under the President Edgar Chagwalungu. But however, if you keep praising everything, even wrong things, we are destroying him and destroying the government, especially the PF. So what it is like for example, on Friday, he talked about poverty and vulnerability reduction in Zambia. And he concentrated very much on social cash transfer and emergency cash transfer, which the PF has brought in place. But the president knows that each and every citizen, especially those clients or recipients or beneficiaries, are getting on a monthly basis or after 2 months as they're supposed to get. But what it is since last year June, like in Kitwe, since last year June and here in Lusaka, I've got a lot of people, I'm calling from the Zambia Association for the Development of the Visually Impaired, who haven't been even given those social cash transfer, others are not even given religious cash, whatever. So the president has been misled by some, maybe the Minister of Community Development, saying we are giving on a daily basis, on a monthly basis, on every after 2 months. But that is not coming.
Right.
How is now social debt? How is that being affected? Just lastly, on also this, the people, the farmers. The farmers are saying that they are receiving these imports and especially imports. That is not what is on the ground. So what it is let us as PF receive especially obstructive checkups. Like myself, I check up for you saying, here you are doing here.
Right.
The rule of law in Zambia is not conducive for the media. You talked about the media on Friday.
All right, we
The
appreciate
media
you are elongating your
So let's
submissions.
ensure that you work effectively as PF. Thank you very much.
We appreciate.
Okay.
Your name is?
Bino Lusaka.
Your name again?
Lusaka, Bino, Governor of
Okay,
Democrat.
okay, Binwell.
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much.
You know, Busaka.
Yes, let's get to hear your reaction. I'm sure there are only two, if I'm not mistaken, that you are supposed to respond to. And of course,
Let me.
we get to winding up. We have less than 5 minutes.
No problem. Thank you very much. I was talking about the callers, who I believe that these are people who are also involved in activities, economic activities that makes that them to come and contribute. Just like myself here, I come, I can say that it's voluntary. I'm a PF, not as a worker, but I'm working on the voluntary.
Exactly. You
So
don't expect
I
anything.
don't expect anything at the end of the day. Even if I come here to talk, I can talk 4 hours, whatever. I don't expect somebody to call me, come to the secretariat and
get
get
this
a project. No. Basically, we are speaking for our people. And it's in the same vein. I want to also answer Binwell Babu Saka, Binwell, the Zambia Association for the Visually Impaired. He's talking about, I came here to not really defend the PF, but to inform, because I'm coming from the PF information desk.
Yes.
To inform our people out there. As you are questioning me, as you are drilling me, I'm supposed to provide answers.
Correct.
So basically, I'm not here to come and criticize the government, but to give that strategic information that will help our people to come out of this situation. So basically, my role is that one of being an informer, to bring good news to you. And then for those who are in opposition, if he was here, you has to tell things which are not going well, so that at the end of the day we can have same you can have both the sides. So basically, my side, I'm coming from the PF, and coming from the PF, I need to bring to you the information that is happening and what is pertaining on the ground. Because the other things that he is talking about, like the programs, the farmers input program, what is important for me is to see to it that the president has flagged. And everything now goes under the permanent secretary level. And then the civil servants. That's why we say this is the economy of the economic engine of our country, the civil service. If this civil service, they end up jeopardizing the program of government, that's when you find that now they'll come this report, maybe under the fake report, how the money was not intended to reach to the intended users. So there are all these mechanisms that the government has put in place that assist us. And they don't go unreported. I can assure you, my brother Binwell, if things the president has been giving, just like the way it happened over, is it last week, this procurement of medicine, you find that the government had money, they had allocated money, and the money was made available. And you find that maybe an accountant or a purchase supplying officer didn't check the medicine well, they got that medicine and it's rotten. So it's not the problem of us as politicians. The thing is, if money was not there, it would have been a problem of us as policymakers. So when we go to these nitty-gritties, we don't want to waste the time how the money has been actually dispensed. There is that ministry which is dedicated 24/7. That's why they even talk about they are distributing these inputs 24/7 under agriculture. They are distributing these monies to the impaired person. Me, I have no knowledge. Where can I find it? But these people, the ministries, it is an octopus. They have data across the nation. Even your association, if you yourself we have followed the right channel, you are supposed to be among the people who are supposed to confirm that we actually receive. So basically with that, I thought on behalf of our callers and the others elsewhere, it's important that we remain resilient as a nation and we continue providing checks and balances. And checks and balances doesn't mean to come here and imbalance. Is it to insult our president or to insult the opposition? No. We are one Zambia, one nation, and we can only coexist if we respect each other.
And I
And that
believe-
is paramount.
I believe that you have to take the matter regarding the callers that have been consistent on contributing to the growth of the party and many other issues.
No, I said even me myself, I'm not expecting anything. So the only advice I can offer them, let them form callers Association of Zambia Cooperative, so that at the end of the day they will be looked at as also as people who are contributing to this country.
All right.
Yes, and then also through those economic activities, they are free, they are Zambians, but they can come up with that special
Committee.
vehicle, yes, in which now they can be given, because the institution of governance recognizes under corporate governance, you must be a registered entity.
All right.
Thank you.
Your final remarks now.
My final remarks is that we have listened to everyone's views. They have been taken on board, but what is important is that the president has talked about very important areas, and these areas, they are for all Zambians, not only for people in the Patriot Front, but for all Zambians. And as a Zambian, you are all entitled to receive this part of the cake. So let's go out to kwacha eggs, but we can also participate. It's an opportunity on the other side. You should also not just be a consumer, but you can also start investing in layers. And then also not only layers, but also these traditional foods. And you talked about a brilliant diet. How do we diversify? How do we run? Let's have at least my chicken runs behind us.